Good Tuesday evening, everyone. Another edition of Pub Politics. Ric Garni here, along with Wes on the Republican side, Phil on the Democratic side. Boy, a lot going on, even though, we're still 7 weeks away from Election Day, but a surprising video release, and I'm not talking about, the new Bourne movie or anything like that. This was a secret video recorded at a Romney fundraiser. We don't know when, we don't know where, we just know it was a secret video, where he was captured on tape. One of the exact quotes was, "One half of Americans support Obama because they rely on government support." And he also said 47%, the people who are going to vote for President Obama, believe they are victims. So, of course, this has engendered some remarks, some reaction on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans. First, I want to approach this in two ways. First, I want to talk about the politics of it. Wes, since you're a Republican, how bad is this for Romney and the campaign 7 weeks before the election?
I don't think it's that bad. Listen, gaffes happen, and he's had a rough week, honestly, and this is kind of, the tip of the iceberg, and it's going to get cleaned up. I mean, if we're going to have these mistakes, I'd rather them come 7 weeks out than 2 weeks out, okay? But the fact of the matter is the people that were already with him are going to look at those comments and say, yeah, he was right, and the people that weren't are going to get mad at him. So to me, I don't see any votes changing either way. I mean, all this does is gin up some news stories that says his campaign is not where it needs to be right now. But that's really it. I don't think it hurts him.
But what about that percentage, the independents who haven't made up their mind yet, Phil? Could this be something that would sway them one way or the other, or is it going to be other bigger issues?
Yeah, it certainly could sway their mind. It shows how out of touch Mitt Romney is with reality. 47%, that stat includes people like me. I don't consider myself a victim. Folks like seniors on fixed income, living off Social Security, they're not paying income taxes on that. Folks on active duty military personnel in war zones, they don't pay income tax. So I think just Mitt Romney just showed how out of touch he is. Going back to the politics of it, this is just another distraction. Last week was his bungled foreign policy attempts. And then this week, it's taking him completely off message, and it makes President Obama look presidential.
You said that they were going to do something to clean this up. So you're being a consultant, a strategist. How do you go about cleaning this up if you're advising Romney?
Listen, mistakes are going to happen. I mean, at least it's not purposeful things that make him look unpresidential, like singing every time he gets in front of a camera, like President Obama. All right, those are things done on purpose that make you look unpresidential. This was just a mistake. All right, he made a mistake. He was true on some of his comments. Those people that don't pay taxes, that live off the government, they're going to vote for Obama. They're going to continue to vote for Obama because they get something out of voting for Obama. But he was wrong on some of these stats, like you said, about active military personnel. So I think we just got to minimize, or they got to minimize these mistakes from happening, and things are going to be fine. The president makes mistakes all the time, not to mention our vice president, who is pretty much a clown. A clown. I mean, that guy makes mistakes every other hour, not every other day.
Phil, your response to that?
Well, I mean, I won't criticize Uncle Joe. What I like to call it, the vice president.
We need some bikers sitting in our laps here, like that picture last week.
But it goes back to the point of what are we not talking about? We're not talking about what Mitt Romney wants to talk about, and this is again a distraction for him, and it continues to show momentum behind the president and his re-election effort.
I don't disagree with that. It is a distraction that he doesn't want or need.
This was the Romney comments were captured at a fundraising event where I'm assuming a lot of these media does not get to go into, and this was like a secret. I always wonder how these things is one of those like pen cameras you get used to order in the comic books. But anyway, when you're a candidate and you're speaking at a fundraiser and there's specifically no media allowed. I mean, because these things are basically rallies. The crowd wants red meat, and I'm talking on both sides of the aisle. Do they have a right to expect privacy, or do they have to watch what they say at any point, no matter where they are?
Privacy doesn't exist anymore because of these. I mean, everybody's got a video camera, a microphone, a computer, and an internet hotspot in their phone at all times. So privacy no longer exists on the campaign trail. We saw that with Kate Middleton. I mean, you can't even go and lay by the pool topless anymore without getting your top breasts on camera or whatever.
Yeah, you do have to be careful when you're at these functions. You should always, I mean, any politician needs to be at any type of gathering, just automatically assumes that they're being taped, that they are on the record. I know that on these high dollar fundraisers, they do try to have some sort of door discipline, and they keep cell phones at a minimum and make you check it in. But inevitably, something always gets through.
Yeah, and it's funny because obviously we see a lot of these nowadays, and this certainly isn't the first time there have been these closed-door events where people have said something that would be controversial. It's just in this age now, things are going to get recorded. I mean, we have, right here in the state, we have the leaders of both parties, Dick Harpootlian and Chad Connolly, saying things that could be taken as controversial. I mean, Dick Harpootlian with the Eva Braun comment when he compared Nikki Haley to her. Chad Connolly in the fundraising email where he talked about abortions and birth control are rites of passage for teen girls like prom and a first car. I mean, these are things obviously that that get out there, but certainly it doesn't. It's not just the presidential politics. It happens everywhere, and it's been going on for a long time, I would think.
It's politics.
Yeah.
And particularly in election year, it's a silly season on both sides, and you see that. So it's just part of the business.
Well, I mean, and you look at control of the entire United States Senate went to the Democrats because of that macaca moment on YouTube with George Allen a few years back. That was kind of the internet moment that kind of shifted everything. At that point in time, everybody knew that the internet was coming up in politics. So since then, privacy doesn't exist. You're exactly right. Anytime that you were anywhere running for office, whether you're just in your backyard or cutting the grass or whatever, you got to expect there's probably going to be somebody with a camera looking at you.
But does that make your guys' job then as consultants a little bit more difficult? I mean, do you spend more time now having to remind people that you guys work with to be careful about this sort of thing?
Absolutely.
All the time. We saw, State Representative Ted Vick get in trouble a little while ago. So even if it's just after work or after session going and getting a beer, with a State House member, you have to look at him and say, your actions could be literally on YouTube in the next 45 seconds if you're not careful.
All right, something to watch and something to pay attention to. And of course, 7 weeks away from the election, so who knows what'll happen here in the next 7 weeks leading up to it. PubPoliticsLive.com is a website to catch these guys. I understand you guys are like Springsteen. You have appearances booked for the rest of the year. Is that correct?
I guess so. We have bookers too.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah. So check out the website to see where we're at next week.
Yeah, you'll find out where these guys are next week. You can tune into the show there. You can meet these guys in person as well. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by again.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
All
Back
right.
to you.